Alright, so just to let you guys know, this is the patch notes. This actually just dropped literally on the 4 a.m. my time last night. Because I was jumping around because we got Splatoon 3 trailer and that was cool as hell, of course. Just to let you guys know as well. It's gonna go live on the 29th of September. I believe that's Japan time, so it may possibly be the 28th for the US and probably just past midnight for the Europe and all that type of stuff. Just to let you guys know that. Starting off with the entire patch that we have right now, we're starting off with the Splattershot. The first change is that there has been increased maximum damage dealt from basically 1.35 damage to 36 damage if all bullets are hit directly. And there's another thing that says reduce the damage decay rate over time after the bullet was fired, which I believe what that is indicating, basically your fall off when you're shooting with the Splattershot. So I'm going to show you an example of that right now, since we're already here. Wham, because I can do that. So you're holding your Splattershot. So as you can walk forward, 1, 2, you do 35 damage. That's pretty cool, right? What I believe the fall off or the second patch note for that is when you are shooting upwards. So as you can see, I shot upwards, it did 25 damage instead of the actual 35 when you're shooting directly. So basically, this entire fall off, if I can actually hit this, Jesus. Shit! I wasn't supposed to say that, I was supposed to say hit, but my teeth were in the way. I didn't say that intentionally, alright? My teeth were in the way, so it just made a shh sound. So basically, your fall-off damage should be stronger overall. And I don't know if that's just because of the initial damage going from 35 to 36. They've had damage patches before where they've increased the damage as well. And it's not... They don't mention like, oh, we've also increased the fall-off damage as well. So I believe just in general, when you do fall-off, it should just be a whole lot stronger. So... maybe if you're shooting upwards like this, it's probably not going to be like 25. It may be like... they might put up like I don't know, 5 points. And, you know, might be 30 if you actually shoot upwards. So, could be something like that. Basically, overall, the Splattershot is going to be a lot stronger. Which is lovely to see. This is a weapon that definitely would benefit a whole bunch with it. So, that's really, really nice to see that we're getting a buff from the Splattershot. And... it's probably going to combo a whole lot better off bombs as well, just in general too, which can be quite scary, because if you're getting like a fall-off damage hit that may have been like under 30, there should be like some bombs that should just combo off that extremely well, or maybe a 96 cal hit that's using main power up with a combo off that really well. So that would be great to see. Well, that is great to see that they're doing that. Moving on. Right, so the next patch, this is a buff for the Splat Roller. Basically what this buff is, the ink consumption for horizontal and vertical swings has been reduced by approximately 5%. So swinging a roller is 5% more efficient. Basically, you're just not running out of ink as much. Pretty good. Moving on to the brush, ink consumption has been reduced by approximately 10% when moving while holding down the ZR button. Basically, when you're running around with the Octobrush, you are 10% more efficient, so that's pretty good. If you use Octobrush, then you might like that. This does not include when you're just running around and swinging with the brush, so that, in general, does not matter so much. It's just for the running period, which, I mean, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference, because... usually with the Octobrush, from most people do, they kind of just, they use swimming more to their advantage instead of running. I mean, sometimes they may just run, but the swimming is probably going to be faster anyway, because your running speed is not like as quick as like an ink brush. But, I mean, I guess for just the initial running, I mean, 10%, I mean, that saves a bunch more ink, so you might be able to run into more situations and get the extra swing on people, so that's actually pretty good. Moving on. All right, so this one is the Splat Dualies. So this includes the Hero, the Kensa, the Emperi Dualies, and of course the regular one. The ink consumption due to slides have been reduced from 9% to 7%. So basically there's a 2% difference of ink consumption being taken This is actually a buff, so basically each roll from the Splat Dualies is like 2% more efficient, which, not gonna lie, not too sure how much that's gonna really change the dualies in general, I guess. I feel like you're not really gonna feel too much of a difference. But a buff's a buff. Maybe that's just like one extra roll, but I'm gonna do a patch comparison to see how many rolls you would get after that, because that doesn't seem like a lot. I'm just saying, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The next one. All right, so this is something that a lot of people definitely wanted, because the previous patch buffed this weapon, and now they're nerfing it. This is for the 52 Gal, the 52 Gal Deco, and the Kensa 52. A lot of people have been using the Kensa 52 specifically. The radius of the paint at the landing point, when landing far away, has been reduced by 5%. And in a previous patch, so this was from patch 5.4, they increased this initially from basically 0 to 27%, which is a very large and substantial amount of actual ink being outputted. That's a lot. That is actually, it's a lot. It's like, it's just over a quarter the amount of ink, ink being produced. So basically the 52 Gal got a major painting buff, which kind of enabled a lot more people to actually use it. So there's a reduction of 5%, so it's going to be like, maybe it'll do a little bit of something. But in my honest opinion, I don't think that's going to really change much for the Kensa 52 Gal. Like, it's going to paint less, which is great. Maybe I'd like to see a little more, maybe like 10%, because I think it's good that it can paint. And actually, I think all weapons should be able to like paint somewhat decently. Like, okay, maybe not all weapons, but like a solid majority of weapons where it doesn't feel like you just don't feel like you can paint at all, you know. But maybe if it's a thing where like if this weapon paints so much, maybe they should reduce the ink efficiency a little bit. That would actually hurt it even more. Like, if it's gonna paint this much, then the efficiency should be also taken a hit too. Why I'm saying that? Because the 52 Gal in general is actually pretty efficient. More efficient probably than most weapons in this game, actually. So and of course you get very quick specials on top of that, and with the combination of getting quick specials and also being able to paint a lot, and you know, all of that just kind of transpiring in together, it will honestly feel like you're never running out of ink, because every time you're using a special, you're basically getting all your ink capacity back. So it's just like never really going into many situations where you're actually running out of ink. So either way, all right, so moving on to the special changes, there are definitely some needed ones, I think, from this. This one's the Forged Splattershot Pro. It's being buffed from 200 to 190. I assume that's just mainly because not really many people are using it, and probably more people are using the Squeezer over this weapon, which understandably, because the Squeezer has more range and it has a slightly weaker bomb, but it pretty much does the exact same job. There used to be like an old meta where like the Forged Splattershot Pro was like really strong before the Squeezer was a thing, so they probably just like, you know, they tuned that down, so now it's gonna be 190. The regular Lunar Blaster, Ballers, I guess, are a perk that not really many people use as much. I guess the Lunar Blaster just in general is gonna get a lot more Ballers from 180 to 170, so that's interesting. The Cherry H3, I don't even understand why I was in 190 to begin with. Cherry H3, honestly, it's one of the weakest bubble blower kind of weapons that are in this game. It's very easy to defend against a Cherry H3 that is using bubbles. The weapon itself can't pop the bubbles quick enough against a lot of different weapons that are also in the games. Maybe 170, honestly. Allow that weapon just to be able to spam bubbles a little bit more and just not be able to pop them. Like, just give the weapon just shields, and I think that'll be kind of... I think that'll be a buff. It gives people more reason to actually use it, because it's like, alright, it's one of those weapons that can't pop bubbles really quick, but it can allow the weapon to be able to get a lot of bubbles really quickly, though. It can use the bubbles as shields more than just, I'm going to pop it, you know? Because that's, I mean, that's personally when I play Cherry, that's kind of what I do, so. Bucket, okay, the Slosher Deco. This needs to just go back to either 190 or 200, because no one uses this thing anymore. There was a point of time where Baller was very strong, and this was like one of the like go-to baller weapons that a lot of people would use. But yeah, this thing has been on 220 for the longest time. I genuinely think this should go to like at least 200 or even 190. I guess considering armor is also used so much, it's probably one of those reasons why this weapon doesn't get used too much, because it's annoying to deal with armor with this. It's kind of like how Blaster is. At the same time, this weapon doesn't really paint that great. Like, it paints okay, but it's not, it gets outpainted by so many other shooters in this game, so it's just like, it doesn't have too much going for it. So moving on, the Kensa Splat Dualies, this is what this is, 210 to 200. This should probably go to 190 since no one even uses dualies anymore. Ever. The dualies, just, its efficiency is just so bad. In my opinion, the dualies efficiency is just like, it's so bad, dude. Generally, yeah, these just go down to 190 in my opinion. The Parashelter, this is the Splatbrella, the regular one, the one with ink cloud, going from 200 to 190. I guess that's fair. I guess a buff so people use it a little bit more so they can get special faster, which is, I guess that's always nice. It's not bad. That can encourage people to use it a little bit more, not gonna lie. Going on to the nerfs, right? So the Kensa 52 gal, 180 to 190. Kind of thinking that should go to 200, not gonna lie. I'm just saying because of how underwhelming the 5% can kind of seem. It's still gonna paint a bunch, and I don't think it's gonna really change so much. Like, you can get back to your normal standard by just putting on 2 subs of special charge, and then you're back at 180, or... Actually, no. 2 subs special charge does... it's around 15 points. I think that does like 15 points, so like, if you got the space, or if you can find the space to put those 2 subs on, you're basically the exact same 52 gal. I mean, minus 5% of actual paint being put down. This weapon's still gonna paint well regardless of that, but it's a little underwhelming. I think that should just be pushed to 200, because this thing survives a whole lot, just in general, because you have the splash wall, and people just play behind the splash walls honestly forever until they get their Booyah Bomb. So what's probably going to happen is that people are going to throw splash walls a little bit more and just wait just slightly longer to get a Booyah Bomb. I honestly don't think this is going to change much for the Kensa 52 gal. Like, this patch is definitely for it, and understandably it should be for it, but I definitely feel like we're probably still going to see some Kensa 52 gals, or a lot of Kensa 52 gals still running around, regardless of this patch happening and all. I don't think it's going to change much. Custom Jet Squelcher, 180 to 190. I can understand that, yeah, a lot more people have been using the Jet Squelcher as like their main backline weapon or their main Stingray weapon, which they probably still will. There are times where like people will just continue to just stay back, shoot, and you know, when they get their Stingray, they just play super safe. So honestly, the amount of Stingray usage from the Custom Jet probably not going to be changed too much. Like, if you're playing in like a 5-minute game, you're probably going to have like maybe 1 less. It depends on like how you're playing it or when you're choosing to use a Stingray and all that type of stuff. The Squeezer going from 190 to 200. I generally think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. The Squeezer in general doesn't paint so well, so when we're putting the argument of like how many special points that you need, the Squeezer kind of falls into the category where like a lot of the time you might be just tap firing and you don't in general get too much paint down, and so that would actually probably hurt it a little bit. Even then, you don't get bubbles too much unless like that's all you play for. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably gonna hurt it a little bit. And lastly, the E-liter. The one with the rain cloud that's gone from 180 to 190. I guess in some situations you may just need to take 1 extra shot to actually get that full ink cloud. So, E-liter will still be played, regardless of this special change. It will still be played. I mean, all of these weapons are still going to be played the same. I guess the buffed ones, maybe a little bit more. I would love to see the cherry tree to go down to 170 or something, but yeah, honestly, what do I think? My conclusion of this patch, as I said kind of during the entire thing, I think the main thing, honestly, is just the Kensa 52 gal. That's probably still going to be played a whole bunch. I feel like what needs to happen is either a 10% reduction or an ink efficiency nerf in some sort of way. Like, it needs to slow down, basically. If it had enough like that, it would slow the entire thing down. Other than that, yeah, the Splattershot's a little stronger, so that's always nice to see, and I think you probably see a little bit more of that. You probably see more Kensa Splattershots running around. The Dualies need an ink efficiency buff of some sort, or more of it, because this thing runs out of ink way too much, and it's annoying to use, so it's just like, goddamn, man. that is my entire synopsis of the patch that we're going to get, version 5.5. It's coming out on the 29th of September, so a few days from now. Let me know what you guys think on the YouTube, what you guys think of the patch as well, because there's some interesting stuff here. Do you think the 52 gal was like dangerously nerfed if you're watching this in the future? Do you think, what's it called, it needs to be even more nerfed? Or do you think it's fine? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in a future video.